everyone. Real Life with Nada Manning. This is Coach Vernon Garrison. I'm your co host for the show. You will be presented with the teacher of all teachers here shortly. But right now, we're going to do some housekeeping duties. But I hope you are having a blessed day so far, as well as social media. I hope you guys are doing what you do. Facebook, on Awesome Radio, YouTube on Awesome Radio, GPAT 23 Awesome Radio, and Facebook. And if you want to listen to us 24/7 without interruption, download the Awesome Radio app. Okay, yeah, App Store, Google Play Store. Go there and get it, and you can have the Awesome Radio experience 24/7. All right, if you are interested in the subjects that we have entertained uh, in the past, then by all means go to Roku TV. And I like that word Roku. What in the world is a Roku? It's something. But, anyways, I know it's a channel. Go to Roku TV and look up the past shows and see what you say. All right. Well, we are going to take the next 50 minutes to hopefully minister to you, hopefully give you a couple of golden nuggets and a few things that we might say. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. And thank God for all of us having the opportunity to gather here around this message. All right, without further delay, this is our teacher for today, Miss Nada Manning.
Hello. I hope everyone is doing well at this hour, and it is my prayer that we will come to you with um, some good news and some food for thought. Tonight's topic is going to be on inner struggles. Inner struggles. We all have inner struggles of some kind, and I want to give you just a little bit of what the inner struggles bring to us as we live from day to day. Coach might have to pick up for a few minutes because I'm having a problem with my throat. I think I need to get some cough drops. So, Coach, if you would carry on just for a moment. Thank you.
Yeah, sure enough, no doubts. I believe that the inner struggles here can definitely cascade across all of our elements, our stages in life. We're going to really delve into that. The inner struggles. Where do they come from? How do we play our hand if life was a card game? I tell you, the inner struggle is by design to me coming from the fall. I mean, that's when, Adam and Eve had that, had that situation up there. Seems like it was up there. Doesn't it? Doesn't seem like the Garden of Eden was up there. But anyways, seemed like it was in the Garden of Eden, and then of course, uh, after the wisdom and knowledge of good and evil was taken on our shoulders, and thus sin entered the world. So the struggle is real. I think I think that was a what you call it, a phrase at some point, in the last few years. The struggle is real. But what struggle do you have in your life? Is it managing the facets, the nuclear family? If you have a mother, father in the home, child in the home, what is it, or is it in your social structure where you have the struggle at work, the workplace, where you gather and trade your labor for dollars and cents for value to bring home, to exchange, to eat? Where's the struggle? Where's the balance that you're trying to keep in your life? I think tonight we want to, by design, raise your consciousness on those elements of struggle, and then there's those uh, I won't say self-inflicted, But there's a chosen path we have that has a natural resistance to it. Our vision, our passion, some call it our spiritual assignment, is already laden with a struggle. Even if you're playing a video game for entertainment, it's already set up with some resistance. So I think the goal is to be able to isolate certain things and challenges as they hit us real hard, be able to isolate that area, strengthen that area so that you can meet first class the things that come in your life. And that's what I believe the show is all about tonight. And I believe she's back. And so we can gather some more fruit to share with you if you would sit down around the table and sup with us today.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Sure.
I just want to clear my throat up so that I can speak. Some of the things, some inner struggles that we might face on a personal level, um, probably not too, probably not too out of sorts. But I just want to name a couple of them, a few of them actually, that we all can relate to. And one is I would say long suffering,
Mm-hmm.
jealousy, enviousness, anger, all of these things that we all face on a regular basis. I won't say every day, but many of us do suffer some of these things from time to time. We have peace, we have envy. These things uh, come about in our lives many times when it's unexpected, inner struggles, especially the long suffering part.
Mm-hmm.
And even and truthfully speaking, I think jealousy comes, I don't know if that's all of a sudden many times. I think it's a build up after observing certain things or certain people. Then we develop this jealousy, enviousness, so to speak, of a particular individual or a particular situation that's going on. I can probably name a few things on a personal level where I won't say that. Well, I guess I can say I'm not exempt from being envious of some things, such as whole families, mother, father. I think I heard you mention a few minutes ago about parents, that whole situation where you have a whole family structure. That seemingly today is something that is not so regular. You find more households that are single parents than you do those with both parents for various reasons. So we struggle with the fact that one parent is missing from the home. We, meaning the children, and as we've gotten older, we, being once children ourselves, experience similar situations. And then some have both parents at home and still have a struggling issue because one of the parents are not doing what they should do, and um, it just creates a lot of havoc within the household. And so you have those inner struggles where you wonder, you see all your friends or your buddies or your classmates or whomever, your neighbors, with just the opposite environment. So it makes you feel some kind of way on the inside. So we struggle with that, wondering why that is. Why can't all families be like that, a whole family? And it comes from various reasons, like I said. So we struggle inside as we grow older and see more and more of it as we expose ourselves to the environments outside. So, with that being said, we have the long suffering part because we suffer as we get older when we know what's going on. As children, we grow, we become teenagers, we become young adults, and we become middle age, and so forth and so on. Long suffering come into play. When stuff happens, that's like I said earlier, when it's unexpected, and mm, we struggle with it. We struggle with it for a long time, for years on end. Sometimes choices that we make causes us to suffer. Sometimes we bring it on ourselves. This inner struggle is something that we have to deal with on a regular basis. Like I said, I don't have to be every day, but it does happen. The other part of the inner struggles, I would say, would be, and some might beg to differ, and Coach sitting there probably will be, but I'm going to bring up the word lust, Lust. Not necessarily on a intimate basis, but we can lust for various things: food. We can lust for power, uh, substance, prestige, a position. All of that is lusting because it's something that we want, and many times we go after it because we want it so bad. We go after it, and in doing so, many times we end up struggling with some things. Struggling meaning, did we make the right choice to go that route? Or if we did go that route, somewhere along the way, we might end up regretting it. But it's a choice that we made. And that's what we do as we live from day to day. We make our choices and we suffer consequences. That's part of life. And that's what the show is all about, talking about real life things. And it is a real life thing to struggle one way or another. Amen. Coach, you have any comments?
Yeah, I think the struggle is apparent. I think the struggle is natural. I think to not think you're going to struggle is borderline psychotic. I think it's like the word. I remember when I learned that the word school was in some way, shape, form, or fashion related, if not a word for discipline. The word school is related to the word discipline. Now, I got to look it up again, but that's what. And then if you cascade from the word school, you see that school is an institution where you go and you sit down or you stay in one place under a tutelage or a teacher student relationship. So you get ingrained in your head subjects. That's a struggle. But my thought is that's a natural struggle to to go to school for I don't know 12, 13, 14, 15 years. If you do grade school to college or Head Start to college, it might be 16 years, depending on if you went to early Head Start or something. That's how we have our life set up here. So that right away you engaged in a social construct called education, and that's how we indoctrinate people into our society that are born here. We make it mandatory that they get this education. Well, that's a struggle that's naturally put in place. If you want to the church I went to, you better be there on Sunday. That was that look. That was a struggle, to be there. I think at Green Hill Baptist Church, first Sunday, third Sunday, whatever the Sundays it was.
Mm.
Those were constructive mandates in society that, actually helped you, but you had to struggle to do it. And there were always decisions made within the church, the school, I guess any institution that you in is naturally set up that the resistance is supposed to be a positive thing. So that's the highlight. I'm like saying that some struggles are, supposed to be here. And it's how we manage our passions and our gifts, how we show them to the world. Passion might not pay the bills, So you might be struggling with, oh, I just love to paint pictures. My passion is I am a artist. I love to write songs. I love to write poetry, or you love to do something. I mean, it gives you great joy. It is your life, but you may not have been able to monetize it to the point that people buy it from you, uh, and you may not sing well enough to get into the recording studio beyond your circle of friends that say, "Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. You ought to put that on Spotify." So that struggle there between your gift and working a regular job, and then working one where you went to college for, and it's your favorite subject, and you're great at math, and you want to be a doctor, and you're great at chemistry, and you want to be a doctor. You're great at elements of becoming a doctor, but you may or may not be close to going there. And the last thing I'll say about your passion is a gift is opposite the passion sometimes. And there's a struggle between doing something you feel like God called you to do. This is my ministry. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be ministering and traveling the world. I'm going to be the biggest evangelist, in God's house. So getting to that level where you are operating in your gift means one thing, that you are happy, very, 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 very happy at what you're doing. Whether they're paying you enough money or not, you are happy. And if those two happen to be one and the same, where you are working in a job or a skill set, or you have a business that you do what you love and you feel like is what God called you to do, and while you're doing it, you witness, you help others, you support them with your goods and services when you want to. That right there is utopia, when it comes to the struggle. And a lot of us are still searching for what they feel like the gift is. I'm not. I know what I'm gifted to do. And whether I'm getting paid for it or not, I still do it. And it gives me, and that is my pay sometimes. But, anyways, that's my spiel, the natural struggle of the good things that we have present in our lives. And we can still be in search of the absence of the struggle. Doesn't mean you don't have peace, but there's a struggle right there.
Okay. Well, thank you. Uh, to add on to that, we are live on the air. We are Let's Talk Real Life show as we share our opinions and our thoughts about struggling. Inner struggles are real, are real. And some people struggle all their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder what happened. Why are they suffering? Why are they struggling? So, I mean, it just sometimes it appears to be no let up. Sometimes it can be the same thing that's going on and on and on and on, different stages of the same thing, struggling, inner struggles. Make some of us want to reach out and try to help individuals like that, or find out what's the problem, or what can we do to help you feel better? What can we do to help you get through it? We have a heart and a passion for trying to make everybody feel good. We know we can't because we're not God, so but we can try to do what we can with what we do have. Some of us have the ability to do. As Coach just mentioned, some of us are just gifted and have a caring spirit to the point where we just want to help. What can I do? And sometimes people don't always want help. That's
That's
what men
true.
say. They'll deny the help. They'd rather continue as they are than to accept help.
Well, let's look at this from another shade. Uh, some people, and I ain't talking about curses, and I'm not talking about, spells, even though some people do have them. Some people are cursed I just said I won't talk about cursing. Some people have the struggle because their parents had the struggle. You were your ancestors come before you. If I create a household and you're born into that household, there's nothing you're gonna do as a child, or I invite you into the the household. You're gonna live the way that household is set up until you break the mold. And so some people are born in a situation, and even in the DNA and even the body reveals. I recall reading years ago how the fast food and things that we eat, it causes our DNA, and it causes puberty, and it causes certain um, traditional things that happen to our bodies to make us mature faster. Little girls at an early age um, mature, unbelievable rates where they look like they're older than they're not. I recall reading those hormones that they inject in the chickens. Those things manifest themselves in our bodies, in our lives. And we've been drinking milk and everything in the schoolhouse except water when I started going to school. So now we get older, and now it's water is the most important beverage. Well, they weren't feeding us water at school. We weren't watching out for sodium then. We weren't watching out for fat content. We weren't watching out for cholesterol. So it was the Food and Drug Administration guiding our diet, saturated and unsaturated fats. And now they're watching all of this stuff. But when we were growing up, when I was growing up, you know, I have a certain taste for certain things. It's just what we were eating. So I said all that rambling to say we don't always are not always responsible for our struggle. Now some will argue with me and say we do have decisions to make within our struggles when we face a situation. We say, "Oh, that's what's going on. I got a choice not to be an alcoholic just because my dad was, or I got a choice not to be promiscuous and run the street just because I felt like my mom was doing that thing. I got a choice to be totally opposite of what my family was." And sometimes it's true outside of peer pressure. Peer pressure at school and young people is overwhelmingly effective towards each other. I to the point that I got through marijuana. I just smoked it a little bit. I got through liquor. I had it in the cabinet. We had a shot house. I got through all of those substances. But a lot of kids put so much pressure on each other. If you don't do this, you are going to rot in Satan's backyard if you don't take this substance. Just like the Bible says. Now, this is the last thing I'll say. Now, the serpent was more craftier than any serpent or any beast or animal in the field. That means he twisted Eve up. She already knew they weren't supposed to eat of that tree. What in the world did he say other than you will not die? But the way he said it, she listened to this serpent and then took and got so convinced over this influence of the serpent that she gave it to her husband. And whatever she said in that way, he was confused about what God had told him. Confused, or he just decided to take the trip. So it's like doing drugs. When they bit that apple, Eve and Adam went on a psychological trip that they never returned from. If you smoke that joint, take that crack, take that pill that somebody's trying to convince you to take, oh, it's gonna be all right, man. You ain't gonna die.
Or that drink.
Or that drink, you ain't gonna die. It ain't gonna kill you. I yield back my time, madam.
Well, all right. How about parenting? How about that parenting? How about being nice to someone who hurt your child?
Mm,
Now, we parents, I've said this, I don't know, 100 times probably, how we mothers feel about our children, and dads feel a certain way about the children as well. But how about going back to the school system? How about the parent? Most of the time, it's the mom that's going up there batting for their child
Mhm.
and ready to go to blows for whatever the situation is. Some parents will do that. How does that make that child feel? What kind of responses would that child walk away with? And I don't think they'll ever forget it. So that's going to be a struggle of them remembering um, what happened. And if what really happened was the way everyone thought it was. So we struggle as parents when our children are faced with this, that, and the other, whether it's in school or in the neighborhood.
Mm.
It could be a neighborhood issue where the mom or the dad or the parent, whoever it is, grandma, granddad, come out and say the child is fighting. The inner struggle there is for the parent, whether or not, and some people probably don't care one way or the other. Should I interfere with this? If they're hurting one another, absolutely. But if they're just playing around and it's not all that serious, then you're going to struggle with whether or not you should come to the rescue of your child. But I go back to the school system where they don't play in the school system. Those kids, they really seriously try to hurt one another, depending on the situation. The inner struggle there for that child. Somebody's walking away really, really angry. Both kids are probably angry, but certainly the one that was offended would be the one that have to carry the torch for the longest period of time because they're the ones that was hurt. That inner struggle is going to walk with them from that day until, I don't know, till they get grown, maybe. Sometime when you get grown, you forget those things. But the inner
Teacher,
struggle, yes.
let me interrupt. I had a story that happened to me tonight. Tonight, some kids. I was at a facility, and some kids started. I guess people started moving around, headed looking at out the door, and some kids, young people, had issues going on outside. I don't know if it was about a fight or this, that, and the other. So, well, as it was time to leave, I saw one of the persons that I know that was moving around during the hustle and bustle. And I said, "What's going on?" And she looked at me and she said, "These kids need you out here." I said, "Well, what happened?" Well, one of them had a gun and the other one was trying to intimidate the other one. I said, you know, and just when you said that inner struggle where you should intervene, I'm like, they don't need me. What they need me for? They got some firearms.
Yeah.
I just thought about that when you said that. That struggle lasted about half a second. I didn't even ask who it was. I just kept it moving.
Okay.
Then the blue light showed up. See, that was the intervention right there.
Right. And that no doubt helped you to be able to walk away that much easier because the blue lights were coming.
Mm.
And you were saying to yourself, well, that's them. Let them handle it. That's what they supposed to do. I'm stepping out. And that's exactly right. Sometimes we interfere when we really should not interfere. Again, it depends on the situation. In your situation, I say that was probably the best thing you could have done. Because if they're there, then let them do what they're supposed to be doing. But we struggle at all levels, is my point. All
Mm.
levels in all walks of life, there's some type of struggle going on. And unfortunately, it starts when we are very young and it continues on with those habits when we get older. Truth be told, some of us don't outgrow that um, bitterness or that enviousness, that feeling some kind of way. Some of us don't outgrow it. We carry it right on that same habit at a different level. Why is that? Why can't we mature to the point where we should just not allow situations to get to us like that? There is more to life than struggling all the time. Now, on a positive note, struggling can be good for us. Again, it depends on what it is. The struggle, the inner struggles that we have, is depending on what it is. And I'm trying to think of an example that would be good for us. I'm going to go back to I don't know, I just keep sticking with the parent child thing. Um, it helps us to grow, it helps us to become stronger beings. It helps us to learn to let go. Now, when our children get a certain age, we have to, as parents, we should let them fly, let them get out of the nest, and let them flap those wings as they try to go out there to survive, and not be so available to keep them from struggling by falling, because you fall and you get up. It's okay to help them a couple of times, but some of us go extra far and help them all the time where they won't ever hit the ground. Okay, Mr. or Miss Protector, as you struggle within yourself about your child being hurt, your young adult child now, what are they going to do when you're gone? You're not going to be there to catch them then. They're not going to know how to fly because you never allowed them to try to get out of that nest. You always had the safety net right there. So what do? You're developing a situation where that child is not going to know how to handle him or herself in life once you're gone. And that's something that we should really, really think about long and hard. And it's a struggle for some of us to let go. It's a real struggle for some of us to let go. At some point, we come to realize later on down the road that yes, but sometimes that's way late. But I say it's never too late. It should have been done way back when, yeah. But give yourself some claps, some pats on the back that you finally realized before it was too late that you should let go. Just turn it loose. Let them see for themselves what it's like to fall. And they don't always have to hit the ground. But you're not giving them a chance because you're right there to catch them. They won't grow. They won't get any stronger because you're not allowing them to flap those wings. That inner struggle will be there for the parent as well as for that child, because when that child is away, say the parents are still alive, when the child is away and being grown and handling their own life and the issues come up, what's going to happen? Are they going to make the right decision because you've taught them, you've shown them, and you've trained them? This is how it's going to be, or similar to how it's going to be, and this is how you should be, how you should respond to it. That child is struggling on the inside because sometimes they were never told. They were never taught. So they're out there on their own. It happens. My name is Nada Manning. We're talking real life on Let's Talk Real Life show. It is my pleasure to bring to you tonight some eye openers, some ears opening, and some food for thought about this inner struggle that we are facing every day. And it is something to think about. And we get grown and we have our own children and they have their children, and it just a chain reaction sometimes seem like, where because you didn't do any better then, it carries on to the next generation. So let's go back to not just necessarily parenting, but going back to that belittling, the belittling of as a youngster, even as an adult. Sometimes we grown folks get belittled in a grown up way and walk away feeling some kind of way. What do? If you were in an environment where you had strong advisors, strong examples, strong mentors, then you would know how to handle the wiles of the devil out there. And if you were not brought up in that environment, you have an opportunity to work with it, to move forward because of the inner struggles that you're having. And that's why sometimes these struggles last so long. Anyway, how do we manage those struggles? Now that we brought all of that out, how are we going to manage these struggles? Again, if you have that support system, some children have it in the schools. Like I said a couple of 2, 3 shows ago, sometimes they have the coaches there for them in the sports arena that can kind of coach them along. Some of them have counselors if they don't have it at home. Some of them have aunties and uncles that can fill in the gap. And they will tell them, this is how this is done, this is how that's done, so that they can learn that way. But by then, with the coaches involved, I guess they're in junior high or high school by then. So they're really teenagers, which is when they need the most coaching, I think, even though the primitive years are important. What say you, Coach?
Oh yeah, especially when it comes to coaching. I was holding my peace on the family thing back there earlier, but I was like, I ain't gonna say a word because you said it so eloquently, and you stepped on a lot of people's toes when you say you spoil your child.
Yeah.
But and I ain't need to get in it. But when you talk about coaching, the thing that really bothers me with coaching is when a coach is trying to coach a person or a child as if it was them. They try to live through that child. If I was you, I'd do it this way, or this is the way I want you to do it. That is very, very slight at times. You can see it when a coach reprimands or you know challenges a student or a team or a player that they want them to play because they didn't make it. So I want you to make it because I didn't make it. But you coach a child for everybody that's like, what is he talking about? You coach a child or a person through their gift, through their skill level, through that child's talent. You develop them from themselves to be themselves. Now, surely you want them to be extraordinarily physically fit, but you have to work through that child. They obviously need to run the play that you call, but they're going to do it their way. So everything that they do that's not like you want it is not a violation. Well, I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to do this. You know, some of these kids will be superstars, and then you'll be kind of sitting back, hoping they take over the game and score you 20 points because you're dependent on them like a drug now. I need Marcus in there. Oh, I can't take him out. Well, I need Tammy in there. She the lead scorer. So you'll become dependent on them. But I would say that's a point right there that's, like the coach is spoiled and he's mad because he lost, not because the team lost.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it reminds me of a situation where, like you saying, living through your child. Um, let's take music, for example, or singing. If that child expressed interest in doing that, then we as a parent should not deter them from exercising what they enjoy doing.
Oh, jealous rascal.
Right. Just because you feel like there's no money in it, what you gonna go sing for? What you gonna play them drums for? You can't make no money playing them drums. Well, if that's what he or she wants to do at that time, then support them. Just because you didn't like playing the drums or singing or dancing or in a drama class, well, you're not gonna make no money, so you're discouraging them, and it makes them feel some kind of way. They're struggling with not doing what they really want to do because you, as a parent, don't think they need to be doing that. That is going to go with them throughout their adult lives. And they'll look back and say, I could have done so and so and such, but I wasn't allowed to do it. So they're struggling now because, like you were saying, you might want to draw, you might want to be an artist. Well, there's no money in being an artist. Well, you want to go out there and draw what? Or in a spelling bee. That's a school age thing. Maybe you just like to spell, and it won't last forever. Maybe it's just something you want to do with your time. Doesn't mean you're going to make a career of it. So we as parents have to be careful how we keep our children from doing what they want to do. Just because it don't make sense to you, as long as it's legal, why not let them try it? To keep them from suffering and struggling on the inside and walking around pouting because they're not doing what they really want to do. And it don't have to be the parent. It could be some of their peers that's trying to discourage them. Man, you don't want to do that. What? Ballet? What? A boy? What? Calling you a punk and all that kind of stuff. But that's inner struggles that is going to develop in that child and make that child want to be standoffish or force that child in within themselves to want to go with the crowd, the naysayers, and end up still not being happy because they're not doing what they want to do.
How you gonna tell a child just to do one thing and stay focused when the ultimate level in society is to become a diversified businessman and philanthropist? Diversified where you own part of the airlines, you own the NBA team, you own this, you own part of Google, you own various stocks, you own a beauty salon, you own a car dealership. Those are the people that's rewarded in our society in that wealthy class, a diversified business and investor. So how you gonna tell them that oh you're not good at that? You might not be good at it, but you might own it. You might not be it might not be the best thing you do, but you might own that a company as such. You might not become a doctor, but you can own a practice. You can be a part of one, a mental health institution as an owner. You might not be a clinician. So it's an oxymoron, if I use the word right, to be telling a child to sit down and shut up because they can't sing. Well, I ain't heard Simon sing nothing on American Idol. I think Randy was he's a musician, bass player, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, we just wanted to shed some light on some of the things that we struggle with on the inside. This is called inner struggles. And there's all kinds of inner struggles out there. Some of it is known and some of it is kept secret. Some of us, and what came to mind about that is, what's the word I'm looking for? When molestation. That's an inner struggle for boys and girls these days. It used to be just the girls when they're molested, and it's an inner struggle to keep that to themselves.
Not in the Catholic Church, it won't just the girls. They've been
Okay,
doing that jump for centuries. But now in the black neighborhood, we think about some old nasty old dirty uncle touching somebody's child, but no, they was doing that stuff to them little boys in the Catholic Church.
but the inner struggle is with the child, struggling with whether or not they should say something. You know, and it makes it difficult as they grow older, thinking less of themselves. So they're struggling with their identity. I could be wrong, but it could be a situation why some of the um, boys and girls are turning the other way today. Boys wanting to be girls and girls wanting to be boys. Not necessarily that they were touched, but it's a great possibility. Something on the inside of them they've been struggling with, I think personally, that's causing them to be that kind of way with their lives. Something triggered something They're struggling on the inside. Sometimes it's known and sometimes it's not.
It's definitely a struggle on the inside, and I think it's a struggle. But that's the way society is. You got so many choices now. You know how many boxes of cereal you can choose from? You see what I'm saying? Everything has got a choice, and then they just figure the gender is going to be a choice. It's not. I think this is going to last for less than 100 years, no more than it has been before people started coming out of the closet. But it's always been in the closet. Famous actors and presidents have always been promiscuous like that, but they didn't change their gender. But I think this is a fad, and the more we make of it, the more they gonna it lasts. The longer it'll last.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Nonetheless, it's an inner struggle within a person to carry that from day to day for years and years and years. That's a struggle. So anyway, we want to. We have about 4 minutes left, I believe. We want to um, definitely close out in prayer. But in all of those things, we are supposed to find some good in it. Supposed to. And it's a struggle sometimes trying to find the good in that type of situation that we've been describing. But it can make us a better person if we are in the right environment to be encouraged to know that what has happened does not have to continue the rest of your life. You can make a difference in your own life. You have to want to. You have to, again, you're struggling on the inside whether or not you should go east or west or just stay still and don't do anything. It's a struggle in itself. And if we have the proper um, guidance and the proper um, mentoring, the proper support, then we can overcome. That's the word I want to use at the end of this lesson. We can overcome the issue. Just give yourself a chance. Listen to your positive folks. Pray above all else. We must pray about everything so that the ultimate provider, the ultimate helper, who is God, can help us through. Because many times no one else can but Him. And so many times we wait to the last minute to go to Him for some things when we absolutely don't have nowhere else to turn. We struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle until we get to the point where we just at our wits' end. And sometimes that wits' end will take us out if we are that weak. So I encourage all of you out there who are listening to get a support system. It don't have to be 100 people. It can be just one person, but someone to support you, but they won't know it if you don't open up. So pray about it and ask God to show you who you can go to help you with these inner struggles or whatever that is. It could be just one struggle, and sometimes it's 2, 3, 4, 5 struggles. But God can help you through it, and that's my encouraging word for you tonight. As we get ready to close, I want to pray. Oh, thank you, Lord. We, or should I say us, when we go through challenging situations, please remind us of your goodness. Please help us through, Lord, because we can't do it without you. Everybody out there under the sound of my voice needs some type of support system from somebody because none of us can stand alone. You did not make us to be alone. We are here to help one another, to support one another. In Jesus' name, I do pray. I do thank you. God bless you all. I wish you well and have a blessed rest of your day and a great weekend. In Jesus' name.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tune in next Wednesday, same time, same channel. And we hope your week is fantabulous. If I think that's probably becoming a word, I think I made it up. Fantabulous. Get back here with us at WBISLP 106.9 FM. That's right, FM. This has been Let's Talk Real Life with Native Manning, a late night talk show. Love you guys. See you next week.
All right.
I broke off my knob at 106.9 FM to Awesome Radio, and I'm glad about it.
2 Timothy 3:16.